Is anyone else super happy that 2024 is coming to an end, but feeling an overall dread about 2025? Because let me tell you, I am panicking! Welcome back, everyone, to Grizzly Reviews. My name is Garrett, and today we have finally reached the end of 2024, which means it is time for me to go over my favorite movies of 2024. Overall, life-wise, 2024 was bad, but thankfully there are 15 amazing movies on my list that help me escape this terrible year and really just enjoy film and art. I have my entire list on this note card. On this backside, you're not going to see it. I put a lot of thought into my list, and I'm really excited to get into this. But before we get into that, some caveats. One, this is a favorites list. This is not a best of 2024. I have not seen many movies that came out this year, including The Substance, Conclave, Late Night with the Devil, Sing Sing, Rebel Ridge, Anora, Oddity, Gladiator 2, Cuckoo. There's so many movies I did not get to see, and they are just, they didn't make it, unfortunately, in my viewing time for 2024. I do want to watch a bunch of those. The Substance, I'm probably never going to watch unless I'm watching it with someone, because body horror, I'm just not here for that. I'm sorry. Caveat number 2. Garrett, why is there 15 movies on this list? Because that's what I did last year, okay? If I do something and the first time I do it, the precedent is set and I have to follow it every single time after. Otherwise, what order is there in the world? And number 3, y'all, this is just my opinion. We're here to have fun, talk about movies that we enjoy. And number 4, I would love for you in the comments down below to tell me what your favorite movies of 2024 are. Again, not the best movie that you thought, but what were your favorites of this year? And number 5, I am sorry about the sound of my voice. Christmas Eve, I got hit with a cold, and I am just now starting to get over it, but I need to make this video, so this is what we're working with, okay? I'm stuck with it. You have to be stuck with it. With all that business out of the way, we are going to get into my favorite movies of 2024. Starting off with some housekeeping from my favorite movies of 2023 video, I did get to see Poor Things in theaters this year. It was fantastic. I loved it. It would have made my list last year. I can't say where, but it definitely would have made the top 15 of my favorite movies of that year if I had seen it. But I loved Poor Things, and we're going to continue. Now, even though I have a list of 15 movies to get through, there are some that didn't make it, so here are my honorable mentions of 2024. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, camp fun. It's meh, but I loved it nonetheless. Long Legs, a movie that had me really tense in the first third of the movie, and then it kind of just petered out into a direction I did not enjoy, but overall, Osgood Perkins did an amazing job making a thrilling film. Heretic was amazing. I personally really loved Trap. On Netflix this Christmas, we got Carry On, which to me was deeply thrilling, and I was super engrossed with the characters. Monkey Man was Dev Patel's directorial debut, and I super enjoyed it. Great direction. It kind of petered out and was a bit cliche, but I had a great time nonetheless. Beetlejuice, while not a perfect sequel, I was super happy that this movie got made and you got to spend more time with these characters. The production design is why you go see this movie. It is fantastic. Classic Tim Burton. Transformers 1 was a really fun time in the theater. And Twisters, even though the original terrified me as a child, was an awesome time at the movies. With those honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into my 15 favorite movies of the year. Coming in at number 15, I know I'm gonna get hate for putting this movie so low, but Dune Part 2 is science fiction history. This movie, production-wise, is fantastic. I think everyone in this movie did an amazing job. Denis Villeneuve did a pretty perfect Dune adaptation with these first two movies. However, I don't like Paul Atreides as a character, especially when there is a turn in this movie. I hadn't finished reading the book, so I had no idea I was watching a villain origin story. So when we reach the third act of this movie, I start not enjoying it because I'm watching a villain origin story and I'm really just not enjoying the vibes in front of me. Again, visually a masterpiece. Hans Zimmer's score was great. I'll put it at number 15 just to satiate all you crazy Dune heads out there. I still really liked it. I mean, I bought the 4K for part 2 when I bought the Blu-ray for part 1, because in my opinion, the Blu-ray cover for part 1 looks way better than the 4K cover for part 1, and I think they kind of just go really well together. I don't know. Like, this is the lighter movie, and then this is like The Empire Strikes Back. Getting into my 14th favorite movie of this year is an action film that I super enjoyed because it is about the world of making action movies. At 14 is The Fall Guy. This movie is fantastic. It does peter out a little bit in the third act and get a little bit convoluted, but the fight scenes are fantastic. I just like what Ryan Gosling is doing in this movie, and the charisma and connection that he has with Emily Blunt is fantastic. I root for these two characters. I am enthralled in their on and off again love story. And overall, a movie that is paying homage and respect to the people that make movies while simultaneously being super fun is totally up my alley. Does it help that Hannah Waddingham, Stephanie Hsu, and Winston Duke are also in this movie? Yes, it does. Those are some of my favorite actors working today. But again, super fun. David Leitch is a fantastic director with what he did with Bullet Train, and I think he directed Deadpool 2. All in all, I really enjoyed The Fall Guy. At number 13, I want to put this movie way higher, but because of recency bias, I don't want the hype of this movie to elevate it above others that I've been able to sit with and think about for a long time. So at number 13, I have Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. Look, this is the most gothic Christmas movie we will ever get, and yes, this is a Christmas movie. The time period it's in takes place at Christmas. The cast and crew have said it is a Christmas movie. There is snow. It is winter when this is happening. The vibes are Christmas. So of course I went to go see this on Christmas Day. And of course I had to get the popcorn tin. This is an amazing popcorn tin. Look inside it. I love it. I can't believe how much detail went into this. The tiles on the bottom. It's fantastic. What a fun popcorn tin. Have I figured out what I'm gonna do with this yet? No. Visually, Nosferatu is a masterpiece. The cinematography, art design, the coloring of the camera, everything is perfect. The acting is phenomenal. Aaron Taylor Johnson is all over my favorites list for this year, although he's not gonna be here for Craven because I didn't see that movie, and I don't think it would be on my favorites list anyways. Lily Rose Depp gives a phenomenal performance. Nicholas Hoult, as always, shows he is one of the best actors working today, and Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok is outstanding, truly one of a kind. I'm never gonna forget that performance in my entire life. Do I think there is a more fun vampire movie that came out this year? Of course. So at number 12 is Abigail. I won't lie, my bias with liking radio silence films is part of the reason why I like Abigail a lot more than a normal critic would. I love Ready or Not. I kind of love Scream 5. It's not a perfect Scream movie, but it's pretty okay. And I cried in the theater while I saw Scream 6. This was on my favorites list last year. So obviously I was going into Abigail with such high expectations, and I had such a fun and pleasant experience seeing this movie with friends. It was shocking. I loved the twists and turns. I hated when people were complaining that the marketing spoiled that Abigail was the vampire of this movie. How else are you going to market this movie? How else are you going to have Abigail be the name of the movie and on the eyes not put vampire teeth? Like, I don't know what you're wanting. Sure, could the trailers not have shown as much Abigail of doing the vampire stuff that Abigail does? I guess. but there was a lot that the movie didn't show. The twist of villains, how Abigail kind of isn't your big bad of the movie. Spoilers, by the way. I think this is Melissa Barrera's best work in a horror movie, although I didn't go see her romantic comedy horror film that came out this year. I am upset I missed it. Kathryn Newton is unhinged in this movie. I love what she's doing, and I hope the rumors are true about the actress who played Abigail. I think her name is Alicia Weir. I could be wrong, but there are rumors that she is playing Dorothy in Wicked for Good, and I hope that's true. She's gonna be an amazing Dorothy. If so, I loved Abigail. I have to move on. If there is one movie I am going to get crucified for putting on my list this year, it is going to be this movie that is at number 11. I'm going to give you some context before I tell you this movie, and then we're gonna just get through it, okay? We will listen and not judge. We will listen and not judge. I know it's a bad movie. The lead actress is not vocally well performed, nor is she a good portrayal of this lead character. And I know overall this movie isn't mean enough. The characters don't really hit the high highs that the original movie had, and some of the jokes are repetitive from the original movie. But 2024's Mean Girls gives me the escapism that I need for a movie. I saw this movie twice in theaters. I've seen it 4, maybe 5 times at home. When I am feeling low and I want to experience a fun musical with actors that I love, I will put on this movie. This movie means a lot to me. Again, I recognize it is not a perfect movie. There are some really bad parts in this film. But what Ali Cravalho and Jaquel Spivey and all the actresses who are playing the plastics are doing this movie is what saves this movie and makes it watchable. I love how Mean Girls 2024 is filmed. What they do with I'd Rather Be Me and Ali Cravalho's vocals and the camera seemingly filming for one entire take. I know there's cuts in there. I know how movie magic works. But the fact that it is seemingly one take just entrances me in the song, and I cry every time because of what that song means to me and how much of a fan I am of the Broadway show. I am going to love this movie even if it is a hot pile of trash, which it is like a medium hot pile of trash. I have so much fun with Mean Girls 2024 that I would be doing myself the biggest disservice of not including it on this list. And yeah, I also got the popcorn tin for it too. I had to get the Burn Book popcorn tin for this movie. Like, what am I supposed to do, okay? I had to. I had to. Obviously, this is why I'm wearing this shirt. You had to have known Mean Girls was going to be on this list. If you didn't get that, that's on you. Don't hate me. Or hate me, leave it in the comments, give me that engagement. Just give me it. I'm gonna stop aggressively hating / defending my love for Mean Girls 2024, and we're gonna move on to the top 10 movies of the year. Sitting at number 10, the one Marvel Studios film we got this year was Deadpool and Wolverine. I just had a really great time with this movie. I spent the entire month leading up to the release of this film watching all of the X-Men movies, most of which I hadn't seen before, and I was really enthralled with the story of this film, the fact that it had so many TVA Loki connections, and just seeing Deadpool and Wolverine interact in like the Marvel Studios world was fantastic. I love that Happy Hogan is in this film, and there's so many fun and amazing moments in this movie. This was a perfect finale to all of the 20th Century Fox films, and I'm really excited to rewatch Deadpool and Wolverine. I haven't yet. I haven't opened it because I got this only yesterday. But I am excited to get into it more. I don't know if this was my own personal experience and I was assuming this movie was going to be way more than what it was, but sitting at number 9, Civil War really thrilled me. I was tense for so much of this movie because I was thinking something was gonna go wrong at every single turn. The America that this movie in, it's not about America itself. It is truly about like journalistic integrity and how the news is shaped and narrated by what we decide to share and what is taken picture-wise or written in words. And for that, this movie really gripped me. Kaylee Spaney in this film is fantastic. Kirsten Dunst is remarkable in this film. I love the look of this movie. I think there is a really tragic ending of the film, but if the ending doesn't happen, then the whole story and theme of the movie would fail and it wouldn't work. So I'm super glad that everything happened the way it did. It's been a while since I've seen Civil War. I've only seen it the one time in theaters, but I am very excited to go back into it and watch the movie. At number 8, I am surprised a Pixar movie is this low, but yes, there were 7 other movies that I enjoyed more than it. Knowing the Pixar fanatic that I am, it's no surprise that I loved Inside Out 2, but what this movie did was emotionally wreck me in a way that I've never seen before. Let's be honest, I have my own difficult problems with anxiety. I overthink everything. I will get anxious over the very simplest things. If something's not going the way I thought it would, I'm going to get anxious. So seeing anxiety purposefully hurt Riley and her friends and the people around her because she thinks she is doing what's best for Riley's future is terrifying. A big theme of both the Inside Out movies is that all emotions are good emotions. It is good that you're feeling these things. You just have to limit the amount of anxiety that you're feeling, and I love that this movie taught us those things. Do I wish that Riley was more gay in this movie? Hell fucking yes. Do I wish that the Pixar crew members were treated well during the production of this movie? I do. But I love the work and effort they put into this film. The hockey in this movie is fantastic. I am shocked that Riley is so good at hockey at 13. She is NHL pro level good in this movie, and it is insane what she's able to do. But as a hockey fan myself, I loved what I got from Riley and all the hockey in this movie. I love embarrassment. I love ennui, especially when her phone gets lost. And I love envy. I just think Pixar knows how to make movies that will reach my inner core, and this movie will be a core memory for me. At number 7, we have a franchise horror movie. Earlier this year, I reviewed the first Quiet Place film, and I rewatched the second Quiet Place film to get ready for my 7th favorite movie of the year, A Quiet Place Day 1. Lupita Nyong'o made me cry in A Quiet Place Day 1. The A Quiet Place movies are so good at making you love these characters in these truly terrifying and horrific situations. The intensity of Day 1 and being in New York City filled with these glass buildings that make so much noise with a population of people that makes so much noise. It was terrifying. I was on the edge of my seat during this movie. I truly loved it. It made me sob. Joseph Quinn and Alex Wolff also get major props in this film, although I do wish Alex Wolff was in this movie longer. That being said, A Quiet Place has yet to fail me with one of its films, and I am ready for any and every installment in this franchise moving forward. At number 6 is a movie that admittedly is a little bit low on its visual effects. Some of the movie looks not good, but overall, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, was fantastic. I have become a bit of a modern day Mad Max fiend. I love Mad Max Fury Road. This year I got Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, the wild and true story of Mad Max Fury Road. The making of this movie is insane and quite awesome. I highly recommend this book. But moving on to Furiosa, I mean, with Anya Taylor-Joy playing Furiosa, I knew I was going to love this movie no matter what, because I am a simp for Anya Taylor-Joy. But she's not even the standout of this movie, because what Chris Hemsworth does as the villain in this film is insane. I think this might be Hemsworth's best performance in a movie, and its action, while not as long and intense as Fury Road, I think Furiosa holds on its own. It's a different kind of action while you still get a Fury Road-esque scene. It fits into the world of Mad Max while telling its own story and allowing you to learn more information about the world that makes a rewatch of Fury Road that much more interesting, because you know more about the clans and all the locations and all these side characters that everyone is saying. You get more time with them and you get more context. I am so happy George Miller decided to make this movie. And honestly, I wouldn't be upset if there's a third film that kind of makes a little trilogy out of this story. I'm gonna do multiple double features of Furiosa and Fury Road for sure. Coming in at number 5 is the best theatrical experience I had the entire year, and that was Alien Romulus. I am terrified of the Alien franchise. I have been since I was a kid and won the Great Movie Ride, and you have that animatronic xenomorph that like comes down at you from the ceiling. It's scary, and I've been scared of these movies. They scare me so easily. I have never been scared in theaters before like I was during this movie. This movie makes face huggers specifically so terrifying. And the xenomorphs in this film are fantastic. 20 minutes into Alien Romulus, I was hating this movie for how much I loved its main characters and how sad I was going to be when they died. The third act of this movie is electric. It takes a lot of story beats from other Alien movies, so it's not as original, but what Fede Alvarez does in this film is unforgettable to me. I'm never gonna forget seeing this movie in theaters and the terror and dread that I felt. While plot beats are kind of the same, but it's how things happen, the setting, the way they defeat and have to get through some of these xenomorphs. There's a zero gravity scene, a couple of them that are just movie magic, okay? Kaylee Spaney is the next Sigourney Weaver in the Alien franchise. I can't wait for the next movie. David Johnson in this film is remarkable as an android. I've never connected and felt close with one of the androids in these Alien films, and I'm honestly very excited for Alien Earth on FX. I can't wait for that show to come out. At number 4, I think this is the only straightforward comedy on my list, and that's going to be Saturday Night. I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan. I really became one this year. I have watched every episode outside of 2 actually live. I can't wait for the 50th anniversary special. And this biopic, tense comedic drama was everything I wanted and more. It is electric. Every performance is fantastic. If you want a fuller in-depth review, go see my video right up there. This movie, out of any movie I saw this year, had me belly laughing for like 5 minutes straight with one of the sequences that happened in this film. I love Saturday Night. It is so funny. I cannot wait to get the Blu-ray. I think next week, I think it's January 7th that the Blu-ray comes out. So I'm going to have to pick this up when it's released. Coming in at number 3 is Luca Guadagnino's Challengers. Challengers was everything and more. It was my number 1 movie of the year when I saw it, but 2 movies that were released after it have overtaken it. Zendaya in this movie is remarkable. The 2 male leads in this film are remarkable. The pacing, editing, direction, so many different camera angles and perspectives, and the stakes of a low-stake tennis match are so high personally in this film. This movie is so messy in such an entertaining way that I can't get Challengers out of my head. So we have arrived at my top 2 movies. Now, you can kind of interchange 2 and 1, But with how I had to make this ranking, I had to put number one, the movie that is perfect, that I can't find anything wrong in it, that there's nothing that I could go, well, actually, if they did this, and that's gonna be what number one is. But number two is the movie that I have seen in theaters the most ever, and that is Wicked. I was so ready for this movie. The hype of this movie was insane. I am so happy with how good it has turned out. It was a 10 my first time I viewed it, but every time I keep watching it, I've now seen it 4 times in theaters. I just did the sing-along with some friends. This movie is truly so special to me and fills me with so much joy. My nitpicks in the movie are really small. I don't like Glinda's nightgown during Popular at the end. But overall, I just had an amazing time with this movie. I cannot wait for February to come around so I can own this movie. I will be buying the 4K. I can't wait to just own it in my hands and watch it whenever I want to because that's how special this movie is. The pacing is the other issue that I have with the film. I do think maybe 10 to 15 minutes could be shaved off and I would still love it just as much. When we hit Defying Gravity, I'm kind of getting a bit tired and I start yawning. But Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba is perfection. Ariana Grande as Glinda is playing the role she was born to play, and I can't wait for the second movie, Wicked for Good. I think we have to get to my number one movie for this year. And I bet so many of you are like, wait, hold on. Garrett saw Wicked 4 times in theaters, and that's not his number one movie of the year, and I say no. There was one movie that was better. One movie that I felt like was made for me. It's directed by a director that made so many of my childhood favorites. It is filled with a cast of a bunch of people that have already been on my favorites list this year. It is my favorite movie of 2024. The Wild Robot. I can't say how much I love this movie. I've only seen it the one time in theater, and it's one of those movies where it is so perfect the first time you saw it that you are so scared to ruin that perfect viewing. I can't find anything wrong with The Wild Robot. The direction by Chris Sanders is amazing. The score in this movie puts me to tears. It is truly a work of art. Lupita Nyong'o, the Oscars and all of these Best Actor people, they will never put a voice acting role in these Best Actor performances, but Lupita Nyong'o playing Roz the robot needs to be in those. Her vocal performance in this movie is like nothing I've ever seen before. Outside of Lupita Nyong'o, Stephanie Hsu, Catherine O'Hara, Pedro Pascal, Mark Hamill. Guys, this movie was made for me. I can't speak to enough how DreamWorks has made their best movie and the best movie of this year. The Wild Robot made me cry twice. I cannot wait for more movies, and I hope they keep the same heart and pacing and direction that this movie has. How they animate Roz through the movie is just fucking perfect. I don't know. Everything in this movie is perfect. But I love how they make Roz 3D animated first, and overall, as she becomes more acclimated and part of the forest and the creatures, she is more 2D animation over the 3D. And I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love The Wild Robot. And that is my favorite movie of 2024. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope I didn't take too long. I don't know how long I've been filming. But again, thank you so much for watching. What were your favorite movies of 2024? Don't forget to let me know down below. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. I can't believe how good 2024 was for movies, and I can't wait to see what 2025 brings us. Goodbye!